Dear Twin Flame souls out there, welcome to the Twin Flame Awakening Journey podcast, and today is an episode 191. In today's episode, we are gonna dive into telepathy again, and we're gonna dive into if this telepathy is real or the obsessive thinking on Twin Flame Journey is actually telepathy, or what is the telepathy. I've spoken quite a lot about telepathy on the previous episodes, but recently there were a couple of stories that were coming up for me, and I think it would be good to bring some awareness, some examples, and also, of course, at the end of the podcast, you can try an exercise on your own to see if you can send the messages through telepathy or communicate with somebody else. But there are ways and methods which I want to dive into. And of course, I will speak about the Kundalini energy on Twin Flame Journey, how this can activate more of a psychic abilities, more of telepathy. You can feel, you can sense your so-called twin flame, and at the same time, you can feel that they are living in your head rent-free and they're constantly communicating with you and you don't understand why. I think on Twin Flame Journey, often one of the most confusing part of it is that real? Is that what you're experiencing actually real? That you just met someone very randomly, something inside of you got so activated, you felt like you have arrived home. You're feeling and seeing things that you cannot explain, and at the same time you are in a separation. Like, how this is all possible, it doesn't make any sense. But whether we like it or not, the Twin Flame Journey was here to awaken you and show you who you truly are. I'm never gonna say that you cannot have a romantic relationship with your twin flame, because this is just another limiting belief. Your soul knows exactly how the journey is going to turn out and how your journey is going to be. That's why sometimes it is a little bit difficult when we hear stories from someone else, where we see some other imprints on social media, whether there are twin flame couples who say, yes, the only way is to union, you'll never be happy without your twin flame, or the other way as well, that the only way is union within you and you don't need anybody else. I don't believe that we should put any beliefs or any limiting beliefs on this journey, because what you need to do on this journey is to connect within yourself and find the truth within. It's not that someone's journey is exactly how it's supposed to be and they are right, and if their journey is not the way, let's say, a society expects, then it's not. And we can get really stuck in this loop by thinking that, oh, I am not on this journey, this is not real. Of course, we are humans and not everybody has so-called twin flame awakening. Another day it made me think about it, that while people are around me and they never experience something like that, do I wish them to experience this? No, somehow not at all, because your life will do 180 degrees without you even knowing it. But on the other hand, I don't know if they're ever gonna feel this oneness, unity, love that is undescribable. We cannot find the words for it. And it's like a lightning that strikes you from nowhere, and all of a sudden you feel alive again. All of a sudden you feel you know who you are. And of course, then it will be taken away from you, because the first step of twin flame journey is to remember the love and who you are, and then obviously the other things, but this I will keep it for the next episode in the future. So today I'm gonna dive into telepathy. How do we know it's the telepathy? Or am I making this up as an obsessive thought? Because there is a very clear difference on this journey. I know when I first arrived onto this journey, I didn't know anything about telepathy. I mean, I've heard about it, but I never really thought that I'm sending telepathic messages to someone or I'm going to communicate through telepathy with somebody. Yes, I did believe in a spirit world. I could talk to the spirits, and I know they were always guiding me and they were always around me, had many experiences as such, but not in an extent of now when the volume had all of a sudden turned on and I can hear, I can feel, I can sense things that I did not before. And obviously, I felt I'm going crazy because the sensory system of mine was so sensitive. And at that moment, when we are in this obsessive loop or thinking, you really feel you're gonna go crazy because of you're receiving so much information, and at the same time, it does not make any sense to you that how can you feel a person you barely know so much? What is this thing? Why it doesn't go away? And it's a very different. There is a difference, and I'm gonna go into that all that step by step today. I try to keep the line going on here that we will go step by step because it's a lot to explain, and many twin flames experiencing this on their journey. And at least from my perspective, after speaking to so many of you and connecting to so many of you from all over the world, one of the main thing I often noticed is the question of, am I going crazy or is this real? Because of why I can't get this person out of my head, why this person is living there, and am I sensing the fears of my twin? Are we communicating through telepathy, dreams, sexual energy? What is this? And today I try to bring you the most logical answers we can bring from the mind. But let me tell you something, the soul doesn't operate from the level of a mind. Even though I'm going to give you some answers today, your soul knows differently. You're not differently, but your soul knows some truth that cannot be explained with the mind today. So it will calm down your ego because you're going to go into the soul, to the energy, and you're realizing, oh, this is what is happening. So, also, just to say before we're going to go into that, on my website, twinflameawakeningjourney.com, you can go and fill up the survey. And there I'm asking questions like, which sign is your twin flame and how did you meet and about the separation? Because then I can share it with a wider world of saying, these are the most common things that are happening. And I believe this also brings some sort of a comfort. But I have to admit something before we're going to go into today's podcast. Many of you who've been here quite some time already, thank you for being here. And if you're new here, don't worry, we're going to get into the story. But I just feel I want to share this. During the Lionsgate and the Lionsgate podcast, I spoke a lot about the Lionsgate event, the Lionsgate, and I might have crossed certain ways a line in a way of advertising it. I remember that one of the episodes I even posted on Instagram and saying I didn't really want to post about this because I felt I talked so much about the Lionsgate event. Thank you everyone who joined the event because it was absolutely magnificent. We had so many of us. It was incredible online pretty much the whole day. And we did 11 hours of a retreat. But what I want to say, I sometimes get too excited about certain things because they changed my life. And I've said that on this podcast many times as well, that the retreats or the workshops or the retreats that I organize, I do them because they changed my life. I would be much easier if we look at from, let's say, from maybe, I don't know, a business perspective or however, that I could make a course and try to sell the course or things like that. And yes, the truth is I do charge money over here, but I just want to say to you something that when I am excited about the Lionsgate or Mahashivaratri or the retreats, however, I am like a little kid because they changed my life. And I always have that hope inside of my heart that maybe it's going to change someone else's life. Maybe my presence, my being is going to help it. And at the same time, it can look that I am trying to sell you something, or I am trying to convince you to join the retreats or the events. And, if you don't do it, nothing's going to happen in your life. And no, that's not true at all. I don't do them because of that. And when some of you who saw me on the Lionsgate event as well, how much I enjoy that, because I know that the life is going to change from there. That you're going to shift into a different timeline where things work very differently. And how I know that is from my own experience. That's it. And I know also on social media, sometimes you can see that, oh, this is a new age spirituality. Lionsgate never really existed, and now we are trying to make sense of it. I think it's again of getting attention from being different, and there's nothing wrong of being different. But magic is happening during this time. And whether it's on 8, doesn't matter, maybe 2, 3 days here and there. But I know from my heart that those who joined or did on their own, the life changed. So from here on, all of the podcasts and everything that I will do, I will keep the all about what we do at the workshops or retreats. However, at the end of the podcast, just because I don't want to annoy you, uh, or maybe like I said, my childlike excitement can come over and say to you, "Oh, this is so amazing! Try this, try that." But it really comes from the heart, and I'm thankful for many of you who are here. But I just felt I want to share this to tell you that it is not a business for me. It is not a mission or a purpose, or however. I just feel I'm in a service and I try to do the best I can. Will I make mistakes? Of course. Will I not know the answers? Of course. We are all growing and learning, and I'm far away from perfect, far away. But maybe I am naive, but I really wish the best for everyone, and I'm always there to support if I can or however I can. So just I wanted to say to you that thank you all, and thank you for being here. So let's go into telepathy. So now, how do we know it's the difference? And this is a very big question we often get on this journey. That I heard the story. Actually, I'm going to start from the story where that came up from, because this can happen a lot. For example, um, there was a story of a man who was very into a woman, and they knew each other, and he started calling her as a twin flame. So going in and that you are my twin flame, like he was very obsessed with her, thinking constantly of her, and constantly having that feeling that yes, she's my twin flame and all of that. While they had a brief moment. And I know on twin flame journey it can happen the same way, that you have a very brief moment and all of a sudden you lose your head and you are like, I know that. I'm going to tell you there are certain signs that are going to happen with twin flames. But at the same time, there is nothing wrong if you met the person and they awakened your heart. But we cannot put a pressure now on a person who might not feel the same way. And this is a very important part of it. I know some of the twin flames, meaning of that, have that answers. I did get it. I got all of the things that I wrote down on my journal. I had that conversation with my twin, and I was like, checklist, 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 checklist. And that was the moment where my mind arrived into peace of knowing, well, wait a minute, I wasn't crazy. I felt it all the time. It's the truth. Now I'm coming back to the fact of this story. So the man was very into a woman, they knew each other, she was very friendly, and the man was like, I'm constantly thinking she is my twin flame. And here I've said also on the previous episodes, the world is now going into the state that soulmates are no longer a popular word. I think 10, 15 years ago, every YouTube video you could see or things so that like how to attract your soulmate, how to have your soulmate in your life. Now, in that world anymore, soulmates are not enough. We are moving towards twin flame. And the layer between soulmates and twin flames have become very thin. And surprise, surprise, soulmates can have a telepathy as well. And you will see this at the end of the podcast when you're going to try this on your soulmate or your friend or your family member. So now this man was convinced that this girl is the twin flame. And so somehow they both had the conversation, like there was a third person involved who knew about twin flames and all of that, and went to ask that girl, hey, you know, this man is constantly thinking about you, feeling the energies of you, knowing what's happening to you. Do you feel the same way? And the girl replied, no, never. I never felt anything like that. I am very friendly, but I never had any intentions towards him. So what is this thing? So now here we can start break down a couple of things. Number one thing is it's not very a twin flame connection. And this is why the labels are very dangerous. Because like I said, now we're going from the state of feeling love towards someone into yes, it must be a twin flame situation. And I tell you through the telepathy how you know the difference. And believe me, I have been through all of that. But I also no longer really like the idea that somebody is a true twin flame and somebody is not. For me, it's about how we're going to regulate that crazy energy within you that you would hear the soul's truth. Because when you are in a state of obsessive thinking, it's very, very, very hard to hear the truth. And especially when you are in a separation, you know, the separation drives us crazy. Feel free to share your experience with all of us. So, how is I'm going to really break it apart for you what is telepathy and what is the obsessive thinking. So, number one, telepathy arrives very unexpectedly. It's not like this that you are sitting on your bed and you're thinking, I bring a name right now. Oh, I wonder what Mark is doing today. Is Mark thinking of me, or is Ben thinking of me, or I think that Ben is doing this. So you're starting to repeat. And this is not telepathy. Telepathy is that you are doing something and all of a sudden you feel like, whoa, this is, oh, wait a minute. Why I'm thinking, oh, yes, feeling it. Now, of course, you could tell me, but yeah, there is an obsessive thinking. Yes, if it's your true twin flame, you will get more telepathic messages than you would get normally because of your psychic ability through the Kundalini got awakened. Now let's rewind back. But you just said that this man was thinking of this girl constantly while this girl didn't think of him at all and didn't even receive it. Exactly. When we are in a state of thinking, are they happy? Do they think of me? What they are doing? How are they doing? We're trying to figure it out things on social media. We're trying to get the messages constantly. We're thinking, okay, I don't know. Did they feel this way? So you don't have the clarity and you don't have this unexpected feeling. I had another day with a beautiful soul of mine we've been also from the very beginning when I started the podcast. And he was supposed to have a call with me like in beginning of the summer, but then we had to reschedule and then all of this. And another day, I just on the Lionsgate, I believe, or day before, I opened my fridge. So I opened the fridge and thinking, oh, I have to send him an email to tell him not to forget that we had to reschedule. And 2 hours later, he rescheduled the call without me sending any email. So, what was Freach and him connected? Nothing. So, there is obsessive and anxious thinking is not telepathy. No. And then another thing is when I was in this state of thinking of my twin, why is he not texting? What is happening? What is going on here? And I tried to figure this whole thing out. And I'm going to tell you, my dear listener, you will not figure this out with the mind. Just skip it today. That's also, I'm just going to bring again the example, the reason I do the workshops, the reason I try to get you back into a listening to yourself and opening your abilities, because that constant thinking, constant tarot reading, constant chasing for another validation. And even I've said that on my previous episodes, I don't remember now if I have recently said that. I always say, if you don't believe you are on twin flame journey, say I'm not on this journey. Say this is all crap. I don't believe in this. This is not real. And see how the unexpected messages start to arrive. So another way of knowing how it is telepathy, it feels very simple and neutral. You don't have an attachment. So you, like I said, I opened the fridge and I had that feeling, oh, we need to reschedule this call. And he did it 2 hours ago. And this is just a very one example I have with so many of you. As you know, we are very connected. So it feels very simple and neutral. And this other way, when you have obsessive or anxious thinking, let's say you're obsessive, it feels urgent. It feels like I have to tell them this. If I don't send them this message right away, it's not going to come there. It feels heavy. It feels that you have to emotionally tell them what you feel, what you see, what is happening. So one thing to really keep in mind how telepathy works, it's simple. It's nothing complicated. And you can do that today. Very simply, at the end of the podcast, I will put you an exercise which you can try. Now, many of you who had calls with me or been on the channeling sessions, you could ask, all right, but wait a minute. How then you can read a twin's energy in my field? How can you access and know what they are feeling? Number one is that I cannot, it's not me who is knowing it. Your field is telling, like it's like your messenger is there, like you've been texting and now I access your field and I give you the answer from there, because sometimes we cannot hear our own truth. Another thing is how telepathy works, that it's a very one clear message. It's not obsessive thinking. Now, it's not like entire story, meaning of you say, oh, I feel this way, I miss you, I want to see you, I want to go out with you, I want to do this. No, there is a very clear way you feel it. One more thing, it does not demand action. And this is so, so powerful. When you're listening to this right now, if you are receiving telepathic message right now, or you sent a telepathic message, you will not question, did I send it or not? And this is an extremely important part of sending telepathic information. There are studies, there are things that being now made where people go into a dream state and another person have given a picture. They sit in a different room and they send that picture through telepathy into the dream, and when the person comes back, they say, I saw this in my dream. There are completely, these studies are. But what was different now here? They were clear what they are sending. So they didn't question that, oh, this person might not receive it, or maybe that's not real, or I have to have another proof. Did they get that? You don't need any proof. You have a trust and a knowing. Of course, my dear beautiful souls, in this journey to arrive to the trust and arrive to this stability is not that simple as I am talking here. This is why I say that the soul has its own path, the soul has its own powers. the way our mind operates is often very limited. Nothing wrong with our mind. Our mind helps us to be human, but our mind is the one that wants the proof. Our mind is the one that is constantly I need to see if they're there. Maybe I'm going to send a message. Maybe I'm going to take an action. So meaning of you don't even trust that you sent a message. And for today's exercise that we have at the end of the podcast is one of the things is you do not take action. You trust that, yes, I sent the message. Are they going to react on it or not? It's up to them. And this is the next very big part. Allows uncertainty. So you allow it to be delivered the way it's going to be delivered. And you allow yourself to receive how it's going to be received. Sometimes you're going to receive the answer for this in a way of through telepathy, that someone comes to you and says, hey, I just ran into, let's say, Ben or Mark or Lisa, and, they told me this about you. And then you're realizing, they received my message. But you don't wait for this. You don't wait that, for example, many of you can think of today, I am going to send from my twin through telepathy, I love you, send me a message. And now there you are. 1 day goes by, 2 days goes by, 3, 4, 5, a month, and you never received anything. And you would go, that this doesn't happen. But now you are again in obsessive thinking, because you think, when I am doing something, I have the power. Another thing is, with telepathy, when you receive telepathic a message from your twin or anybody else, it's not only in between the twin flames, just to say that, but of course it awakens more strongly through the Kundalini, and I'll talk about this also. So meaning of it feels very similar. So the message is very clear for you. It's very similar. Let's say you feel, this is what I'm going to do. This is there. Like you have that clarity. And actually it comes down to very simple things: clarity, truth, and everything. In obsessive, it changes as you analyze it. You try to make sense of it and everything. And I go back to the story from the beginning. I said that the man said, I'm obsessively thinking, she's my twin flame. And the girl says, no, I'm just friendly. I don't have any feelings towards that person. I don't think of this person the same way. So now where that comes from? This comes from a place of, number one, we do have feelings towards other people. We do fall in love, and not only one person in a lifetime, all of this. So what we start doing it at this moment is that when somebody is nice, kind, friendly towards us, we start feeling, oh, they feel the same way, so it must be the truth. And we start making a story. That's why I say the twin flame journey can be very, very um, uh, dangerous online, because we start labeling everybody as twin flames. I'm just going to say, clearly, when we have such an obsessive thinking, it's not that you're receiving messages from your twin. Now, on the other hand, which happened to me, and that what happened unexpectedly and was very clear, was that all of a sudden I was sitting and I felt like a vomit, in that sense, like words want to come out of me. And I took my pen and I was writing it down, like, I want to reach out to you, I want to talk to you, but I'm afraid of this. There was such a story. And when I wrote this down and I paused, I said to myself, what was that? Like, why? Where that information comes from? And I even wanted to delete that, because I thought, this is insane. This is mad. But somehow I didn't delete it. So again, it arrived unexpectedly. I was not thinking of that. I didn't even have the imagination of this. And here we go. So twin flame or even any telepathy is actually simple. You set intention, you send it out, and you get an answer. Now, of course, here is a little bit I go against some of the studies and some of the information, meaning of that about receiving a confirmation about it. Even myself, sometimes I receive some of your energy. Let's say I feel how you're doing it, and I feel that weeks ahead that you've been thinking of me, but I haven't taken my phone and sent you a message. Now it can feel like, oh, it never worked, but that's not true. I try to, of course, write as soon as I can. Normally, you're faster than me, but we do get the confirmation one form or another. And here, sometimes the songs, the numbers, everything can be confirmation. Although a very slippery road is when we start treating everything as a sign. This is why I say universe always speaks to us, but not every sign is a confirmation. I've spoken about how you know that the signs are confirmation when you feel them again. It's like they stop you and you are like nodding your head going, I can understand. Yes, that is the truth. Thank you. So the music speaks to us, the science speaks to us, but we don't search for it. We don't try to make sense of it. Those of you who had come to the first sessions with me, we always do the energy activation. And then I say, okay, if you want to know if you're really on this journey, ask for this question, but don't chase for it. And this is extremely important part. I tell you something that your life is not going to be better or worse of being a twin flame or not a twin flame. Your life is going to get better when you're going to start listening to your soul. You're going to align and the obsessive thinking will stop. You start to see how you are living in a union, in alignment within yourself, and all the answers will come with that. When I spoke about before about the Lion's Gate, I also wanted to say this, that none of these podcasts, the workshops or the energy healings or the calls, whatever I have there I can offer, are never made with an idea of keeping somebody on a loop. Not at all. I never would say on the calls that, yes, now you have to have 10 other sessions in order for you to align. No. I never send emails about, here is the offer, here is this. I don't. Why? Because I saw this another day on one of the podcasts, and this really hit me hard, of saying that when we go out of this world, like out of this body, and let's say we have a death, one of the most important we will be looking back for is how much we were in service for others and in everyday things. And then this is why, and for me, again, it brought me back to this, that yes, I'll try my best to be in service whichever way I can be. And there are many little things or big things I do daily, which I don't go around billboard in my hand and saying, look at me, I did this. Look how good person I am. Look at this. No, I'm a believer that it's when the divine tells you something to do, then you do it. So this is why I don't also believe that we have to heal forever. We have to practice forever. But I tell you something, you don't want to be in that state where it's consuming you constantly. You do not. It maybe takes some time. And I know that we all want to have some sort of a final answer. But if we are able to shift of not having that final answer, you can be free. And freedom is peace. And it will allow you to be. And your telepathy does not disturb your daily life. Every one of you who is in obsessive thinking phase of be thinking like, I can't sleep, I can't eat, they are in my dreams, they are here, they are there. And there is a slight truth in there, especially in the first separation phase where the Kundalini is very active. There is a truth in there. But in general, when you would send a messages, it will not disturb you as much. But of course, there are dreams, there are situations where it can be very intense and can wake you up. So, for example, you can have this that he suddenly came into my mind and I felt sadness. Like you were doing something, let's say you were with your friends, and all of a sudden you felt that, oh, Leo, how are you doing? I feel you're sad. Okay. And you write this down. You write this down and you continue your day. You will not start playing this again. So now the obsessive thought is that he came into your mind. He must be sad because he misses me. This song confirms that he's missing me. Maybe also the 1111 means that he will contact me. I should check his social media. I should see what happens. So the very first, what you felt might be very true, came to your mind and you felt the sadness. But now you start adding more and more um, energy into this. So now you can try something, just try it. But at the end of the podcast, I give you a bit of a stronger one, but you can try this. For example, you can use this 4-step and then see if you're receiving telepathic messages or you're receiving your obsessive thinking. So, very first, you write down only the raw information. For example, when it came to you, you felt chest pressure, or there was a color, let's say yellow, blue, green, you saw some color, the face, word, home, union, love, whatever. You put it, and there is no sentences, writings, pretty much. You just put it down, what was the very first thing. And I just want to go back to this that when from the very beginning, when we started with the group calls and workshops and everything, we had one of the workshops where I thought about channeling and how you're going to receive. And so many people who did that were like one-on-one afterwards. They just were on the Lionsgate as well, and made me very happy to see that some people are, and it's not that, again, I want to say they're not on the loop or anything. They just connect to their soul and they know the truth. So uh, you have to separate the interpretation. So, meaning of, you go, I think this means he wants to return. Mm-mm. No. What the second part, what I told you, is a story, and this is not an evidence. This is not. So, separate the interpretation. So, try not to go into what it means, what's going to happen now, when it's going to happen, how I feel this way. Sometimes, of course, when you step into a channeling very strongly, you can receive these messages. And then you do nothing now for 24 hours. This is a hard one when we are in obsessive thinking. I know it's not going to be simple, but I show you this at the end of the podcast, how you can do this with your friend or your soulmate or your family member, because then you don't have so much of this intensity involved, and you can see that you can send telepathic messages. So, number one is that genuine information is not something where you panic. And if your twin is resisting a contact or you're checking, it creates an anxiety, then it's the obsessive thinking that is driving the experience, and you did not receive a telepathic message. But if you are calm, you're going to receive a message. So you can ask a couple of questions for yourself. For example, would I believe in this if I was calm and unattached of the outcome? So I have no expectations of what's going to happen. The same story like I told about the fridge. And now we go back to this man, for example, who were saying, oh, she is my twin flame. I know that, she feels the same way. And the woman says, no, I never felt something like that. So what happened here? He imprinted a story. And that story, he couldn't stay in peace. So he started, of course, looking for the answer, meaning of, give me the answer. It's true, it's true, it's true. Didn't trust himself. I'm going to give here a benefit of a doubt, meaning of, it's very difficult to hear yourself when so much energies are going around. You will get your answer, but not from the state of anxiety. And that's why sending a telepathic messages has to be from the neutral state. Then another question you can ask yourself, am I receiving information or I'm searching for a reassurance that I want to make sure that what I'm receiving is the truth? Now, a very, very hard question for the mind. Can I accept that I might be wrong here, that it might not be the truth? Is that okay? Can I accept that? Can I live with this truth? Now, does this thought or message I received brings me clarity or makes me to investigate even more? That I'm going to have more answers. I need to know more. I need to have more. I'm going to say to you, all of you who are listening, I have been on this state. I know that. And today I can really tell a difference between obsessive thinking and telepathy. Now, many of you are saying on this journey, I can feel my twin. And 100% you can. I have no doubt in this. Weird things happen to me on this journey that I can never explain that until you have experienced it. So I am a believer, yes, you can feel your twin. But sometimes it's also our own fear, longing, or a memory. And that's also where we need to catch ourselves. And why? Because of, I say to you that when we are receiving a lot of information and our nervous system, because of the Kundalini, is so active, we might start seeing everything in our life as telepathy, and not everything is. Because of real intuition, real knowledge, real thing is feeling natural and free. It's like, oh, yes, okay, all right, and you can move on. Obsessive thinking is going to keep you on a loop forever and ever. So now we are arriving to the Kundalini. Because Kundalini will be activating this connection, and it doesn't make sense of it. And yes, 100%, you can feel your twin, which I told you. There's no doubt. You can feel their emotional state, and often their emotional state you feel in the heart center. You can feel in the throat center. So you can feel words, messages, you want to say things out, you want to experience something. And I'm going to say to you, how many times in your life you had this with your friends, that you're looking at each other and you're saying exactly the same word out. You are saying the same thing. You can say to your friend, oh my God, I was just about to say that. So now think of, if that you can have with your friend, with your twin, no doubt, because both of you get activated with this energy. The third eye. Some people receive images, symbols, dreams, sudden knowing. You just know. And you in your crown, you can experience unity or consciousness beyond physical separations, which means you can feel that your twin is sitting next to you. You can feel that you see what they're doing. You know, let's say, I knew when my twin had alcohol, for example, and all of these things. So there are all things we can feel and know without being next to them. And it sounds freaking crazy, but Kundalini heightens our awareness. And so you are going to receive a lot of information. And for that, I have also said that Kundalini is normally what gets activated between twin flames. If it didn't, maybe it's not the twin flame journey, but it doesn't mean that it's a less intense certain ways. just the Kundalini is very, very violent. So, um, let's say through the telepathy, you can feel that, let's say, happens like this, that you feel sensation. When your Kundalini is activated, you feel sensation, warmth or pressure that comes in your heart. Then all of a sudden you can mentally feel that his face or the word miss enters into your mind. And then you interpret this, he misses you and will contact you tonight. The first two are experiences you generally had, but the third is a conclusion. And of course, Kundalini may and obviously will amplify the sensation. But one of the things what we have to be careful is the conclusion. So, how to know that is the truth? Experience. I felt sadness while thinking of them. This proves only that sadness came into your awareness, into your experience. You felt sadness around them. Then intuition. I had impression that they were sad, but you don't really have a proof, but it's possible. Now, when we predict, is meaning of I sensed at 3 a.m. in the morning, 333, that they had received a very difficult family news or something happened. So write it down on that moment. And later they tell you without you needing to know that. And that's going to go from here over and over and over again. But as I said, I had written things down. And when I got my answers, I felt, oh my God, I was not crazy. It's the truth. Because I want to also talk about a little bit. I want to add here as we're moving forward that Kundalini will give you eventually more freedom and embodiment. So it's not going to make you dependent or interpreting another person's feelings, truth, and everything. You will stop the decoding. And this was another thing when I was thinking on my own that why do I work with the Kundalini energy, or why do I use this energy, and what's the point of all of this? And then the very clear message came immediately and said to me that, but Kundalini chose you and you are the vessel now. Because I love breathwork, I love Reiki, I love shamanic healing, all of that. But Kundalini somehow chose me. And I always say when people tell me, thank you for doing this, or look what we can do with energy, and I always say, it's not me. It's never me. It's something else there, which I cannot describe what it is, but it's something very intelligent that knows. And it changed my life. And now through my body, I can also express that to others. Because also when I went to the Kundalini training, I never knew about anything of that. I had never seen any videos online what should happen on Kundalini activation. It was never in my awareness. But all of a sudden, at nighttime, I got this message: you need to go to Kundalini activation training. You need to go for that training. You need to go for that training. Then I typed into Google Kundalini activation training. I saw the first thing. I just said, I'm coming. At first, I didn't even say I'm coming. I just said to myself, okay, if I really have to go there, show me a sign. And then the beautiful soul, who I'm very connected to, sent me a picture of a tattoo of a snake. I said to him, okay, I got the answer. I got the answer. And when I arrived to the training, it was the same thing that people asked me, why you're here? And I said, I don't know. I know nothing. I don't know any Kundalini training schools. I don't know the reputations. I know nothing. And yet here I am. So it shows me. And I am just a vessel of this. And so what I'm trying to tell you is that the Kundalini will give you a understanding and connection and the truth, and reality will confirm it clearly. So you will get faster the knowledge, faster what are the things. So I I think we don't have a time today to talk about the sexual energy. Why is it so strong, and how is it there? Uh, mm, but let's just go into one more thing before we're gonna end this. That can my twin hear every thought I have? So write down your wild thoughts you have at this moment. So here is again the answer is yes and no. Because you don't have to become afraid of your thoughts that everybody is gonna, all of this is gonna be there. No. Can you send a telepathic message to your twin? Yes, you can, but you need to sit in a minute meditation. You need to send a love, and you need to hold that person in your awareness. Because that changes your inner state. It connects. It's like a wires that connects. Of course, you shouldn't assume. It's again another thing, like I said, you don't need to have a proof of saying, okay, I'm going to connect to this person, I'm going to send this to them now, and so they're going to receive it, and that's the truth, that is it. If you're going to do it from this place, you are in a place of mind, and I'm telling you, very little happens from the place of mind. I would always say that if you want to see if it's really happening, write things down. You will always have that. So, for example, if you sent that, oh, he will contact you tonight, but he didn't, that must be also become part of your evidence, because we cannot remember only the moments that matched and forget the hundreds that didn't. So, meaning of that, the more you are aware, the easier it is for you. Now, here is another really, really, really big thing. What happens when you all of a sudden, with your telepathy with your twin, becomes quiet? Nothing happens. And you panic because you no longer feel your twin so strongly. And now you might believe that the bond has disappeared. But actually, sometimes the stillness, quiet is an integration. And your nervous system is no longer organized around the person. You are holding the energy. And now it's all in here. And actually, that's where the union comes in. So, it's a very paradox of this journey. The life is a very paradoxical over here. So the more you're able to look that from the eyes of a paradox, the more closer you come. All right, I will be now calling you in to try something that is helping you to send a telepathic message. But for this session, I invite you to, you can take the telepathy track from the Patreon. So if you wish, it's over there, or I add here on YouTube as well on the members. Oh, I see we have memberships now, and some of you have already signed up. Thank you for that. I will be doing extra content for this. Number one is to quiet the mind. So that's why the Kundalini activation and inner dance activation, the meditations are very powerful, because we quiet the mind. So meditate for 10 to 20 minutes. Really slowly breathe. Observe thoughts without following them, so don't fight with them. Just meditate for 10-20 minutes. At this moment, the track you will get from the Patreon, or you can do on your own, place one hand over your heart and breathe very slowly. About 5 seconds in and about 5 seconds out. Now try to remember anything about love. Anything, love or gratitude. Feel. Allow that feeling to activate, because of the coherence of your heart is going to send that message. Now, for sending for your friend, don't choose your twin today. Choose anybody else, your friend, your family member, anybody in your family. Choose a very simple image. Rose, blue circle, candle, anything like that. Very, very simple. Or choose a word or number or anything, and repeat this internally while visualizing the ones you're gonna send it to. Please choose somebody who is closer to you. Don't do that immediately on your twin. So now, instead of sending and telling to them that I'm sending you a blue flower or a yellow bird, you are gonna send emotional state. So how are you gonna send that? In happiness, in excitement, a feeling I wanna see you, feeling I wanna be there, but in an emotional state. So feel the emotions. And now you simply gonna let go of it. You sent a message. How it's gonna be received is totally up to you, up to the one who's gonna. And if that works for you, please send it. Let us know, come back to this video and write the message. But like I said, choose somebody you know closer and then try the next time with your twin. All right, my beautiful souls, another hour has passed by and I'm so happy and so thankful that many of you have chosen to come here, spend your day, spend your time with all of you, or with all of us, with me, with everybody who is listening. So like I said, I will be keeping all of the updates only until the end of the podcast. So we finished the Lionsgate. We have a Cyprus retreat coming 7th to 14th of November this year. It's 11/11 portal, and that is where we all are going to experience these techniques that I'm talking about. It this year is very unique, the Cyprus retreat, because we are opening up for more people to join, meaning of you can join for a day or two if you can't do the full week. You can join and find your own accommodation if you wish to. You can stay with us in the house if we still have places. So twinflameawakeningjourney.com, there is all of the information. Many of you who feel that they want to take their journey to the next level and not to spiral on obsessive thinking, and if that's real or not, of course you can have a session with me, twinflameawakeningjourney.com. We have workshops on Patreon as usual. You can join the Patreon. The links are in the description, and it's $5.99 a month. And you can join for free. You can have a look if this is something you would like to experience. Don't have to. So this was for me today, and I'm very thankful and grateful that many of you are here and still listening, still joining, sharing love and connecting. I hope this episode will help you to realize where are you at this moment, and to let go of this obsessive thinking, because this is very exhausting. Sending you a lot of love and lots of light, and I hope I'll see you here soon. And if not, I wish you all the best and all the love of the world. Thank you for being here. Lots of love and lots of light.
It's true, you think it will be over. A fool am I to feel the way I do. And God knows I've tried over and over, but I just can't stop thinking of you. In time they say it's gonna be better. With some time I'll find somebody new. Well, that's a lie, and they are the fools for that matter. 'Cause she won't be nothing like you. Each night I am lost in crying